Meeting of the Aiken City Council. If you are so inclined, please rise for the invocation followed by the pledge. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, send down upon those who hold office in the city of Aiken the spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, that with steadfast purpose they may faithfully serve in their offices to promote the well-being of all people. In your name we pray. Amen. Chief, would you come and join us? Lead us in the pledge.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As the meeting begins, I will review the guidelines. Meetings are public forums in which many opinions are expressed, and the business of the city must be conducted. As such, discipline, honorable, and professional decorum is paramount. Courteous and respectful communication is required. Anyone wishing to speak must be recognized so that we can put all comments into the public record. During public hearings, all questions and statements from the public shall be directed to the chair. If you wish to speak, raise your hand and I will recognize you. Please approach the podium and state your name and address. In order to allow an opportunity for everyone who wishes to address council, speakers should limit their comments to the subject being discussed. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes to address an issue and may only address an issue once unless questions from council are posed to the speaker. During the non-agenda public comment section, each speaker has 3 minutes and can only speak once. We now move to additions and deletions to the agenda. I recognize Mayor Pro Tem Kay Broll for this agenda item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everyone. We're glad to see you here this evening, and we hope you'll support us as we make decisions for the betterment of our city.
Thank you.
We have no additions or deletions. No additions or deletions tonight, Madam Mayor.
Thank
So
you.
I propose that we adopt this as it is written.
Thank you, Councilwoman Broll. And a second
I second.
from Councilwoman Diggs. All those in favor? Thank you. The minutes were provided to council for review prior to the meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Councilman
second.
Waldo?
I second,
Councilman-
Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Waldo made the motion and a second from Councilwoman Morgan. Any comments or changes? All those in favor? Thank you. There are 5 presentations tonight. The first is a proclamation designating May 16th, 2026 as Aiken Department of Public Safety Police Athletic Day. Councilman Waldo, will you read the proclamation into the record for us?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I have a proclamation here for Aiken Department Public Safety Athletics. Whereas the Aiken Department of Public Safety Police Athletic League was established in 2006 after an officer encounter with a young male at a Little League football game when the officer asked why he was not playing, and the youth male responded, "Because my parents don't have the money." And whereas this inspired the officer to garner support within the Aiken Department of Public Safety and the city personnel to form an athletic program, initially providing local youth with the opportunity to participate in organized football and eventually expanding to include other activities such as cheerleading, golf, basketball, and track. And whereas, since its inception, PAL has served as a vital community resource, fostering positive relationships between law enforcement and youth, promoting teamwork, discipline, and healthy lifestyles through athletic programs and activities. And whereas, PAL continues to impact countless lives in the city of Aiken, offering safe and constructive activities that strengthen relationships and build trust within the community. Now, therefore, Teddy Miller, Mayor, and the Council of the City of Aiken, South Carolina, do hereby proclaim May 16th, 2026 as Aiken Department of Public Safety Police Athletic League Day in the City of Aiken, and encourage all citizens to recognize and celebrate the contributions of Aiken Department of Public Safety Police Athletic League Day, POW, to our community. Thank you.
We'd like to also recognize retired Captain Lolita Ashley, who founded Police Athletic League some 20 years ago. Is that correct? Thank you. Here we go. Come over here. How are you?
So we're gonna have to bring the ends in a little bit. Y'all gonna have to come just a little bit, make sure everybody's face is visible. Yeah, you got some more here.
Is that better, Gary?
Hold on.
He'll let us know.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Everybody look up at that camera. 1, 2, 3. All right, we got it.
I'd like to say it's so good to see Lolita Ashley and her husband Gary. They were in this thing from the beginning, and it's so good to see them still active in the cause. And also, I saw someone else I hadn't seen in a while. Got a church member that's a part of it, and her daughter who plays basketball, and Cynthia Mitchell. Yeah, you have been definitely a force, and I see Big Old Man, which is Herb Schofield. So I just thank y'all so much for all you do and the twins, I'm sorry. I see the twins who were valedictorian and salutatorian at Aiken High School back in the day. So we're just so happy to have y'all, and just thank y'all so much for staying the course, because you have been such a good influence on these young people and made such a great impact in our community, and we just thank you and we love you for that. Take care, Lolita. Don't be a stranger.
Thank you all. The next is a proclamation designating the month of May as Older Americans Month. Not by design or age. Should be me.
I'm saying I'm being typecast. I'm being typecast, you
It's
all.
because you read so well. That is why we
Oh,
picked you.
okay, I got you.
So will you please read that?
It would be my honor to read it. Whereas Older Americans Month is celebrated annually in May to honor the contributions, resilience, and wisdom of older adults, and to reaffirm our community's commitment to ensuring they live with dignity, independence, and purpose. And whereas the observance of Older Americans Month is further strengthened by the passage of the Older Americans Act in 1963, landmark legislation that established vital programs and services designed to help older adults remain healthy, engaged, and independent in their communities. Whereas this year's theme is to champion your health, emphasizes prevention, wellness, and personal responsibility as cornerstones of healthy aging and encourages older adults to take an active role in their health by advocating for themselves and making informed decisions that support their independence. And whereas older adults play a vital role in the social, cultural, civic, and economic fabric of our city, serving as caregivers, volunteers, veterans, faith leaders, and community advocates. And whereas many older residents face challenges such as social isolation, food insecurity, limited transportation, and access to affordable health care, making community-based services and partnerships essential for their well-being. And whereas local organizations, volunteers, caregivers, and service providers work tirelessly to support older adults through through nutrition programs, transportation services, wellness initiatives for healthy living, lifelong learning, and social connection. And whereas Older Americans Month offers an opportunity for both individuals and communities to take meaningful steps to champion health, promote wellness, and advance healthy aging for people of all generations. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City of Aiken hereby recognizes May 2026 as Older Americans Month and encourages all residents to honor older adults and support initiatives that promote health, independence, and quality of life. Be it further proclaimed that this City Council expresses its sincere appreciation to the professionals, volunteers, community partners who serve older adults with compassion and reaffirms its commitment to programs that enable older residents to age with dignity, respect, and opportunity. And it's signed by our Mayor, Teddy Milner, and all of the council.
Thank you. I'd also like to recognize Senior Commission Member Brenda Taylor. She's present to receive the proclamation.
Is she here?
Thank you. Next is a resolution to name the building at 151 Newberry Street Northwest. I will read this resolution into the record. Whereas Tom Young is a son of Aiken, born into our great city to the late Thomas R. Young Sr. and Deli O. Young, and whereas Tom is a graduate of Aiken High School, where he showed tremendous aptitude for leadership and scholarship, and whereas Tom continued his education at the University of South Carolina, Columbia, where he earned with honors his bachelor degree and law degree, and whereas while at the University of South Carolina, Tom obtained much recognition for his leadership and academic achievements, including recognition as a Carolina Scholar, election by his classmates as president of the student body, also a recipient of the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award as most outstanding graduate in his class. And whereas after completing law school, Tom embarked on a successful law career in the firm of Young and Thurman, and whereas Tom is a faithful husband to Heather and father to Haley and Ashley, and whereas Tom ably serves the city of Aiken and surrounding areas in the General Assembly as the Senator for District 24 and Chairman of the Aiken County Legislative Delegation. Now, therefore, I, Teddy Milner, Mayor, and the Council of the City of Aiken do hereby name the building housing offices for USC Aiken, Savannah River National Laboratory, and the Aiken Corporation, the Tom Young Center for Research and Innovation, and thank Senator Young for his efforts on the project and for his representation of Aiken County. Signed by all. Is there a move to approve this resolution, Council?
I so move.
I second.
Councilwoman Brohl made the motion, and I did get a second from
Wasn't on, I'm sorry.
Councilman Price made the second. Any comments from the public? Comments from council? All those in favor? Thank you very much. We have a new building with a name. Next, we have a proclamation designating May 11 to 17, 2026 as Salvation Army Week. Councilwoman Diggs, will you read the proclamation for us?
My pleasure, Madam Mayor. Whereas the Salvation Army has been serving the people of Aiken, South Carolina for 99 years, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and whereas the Salvation Army is present wherever needs are greatest, especially during times of crisis where vulnerable citizens are more at risk of becoming homeless, food insecure, addicted, or spiritually tired. And whereas the Salvation Army invites the people of the city of Aiken to show love to their neighbors and help the organization continue to provide life-changing aid to those who need it most. And whereas it is fitting and proper during National Salvation Army Week to recognize the tremendous impact of philanthropy, volunteerism, and community service in the city of Aiken. And whereas National Salvation Army Week is an opportunity to encourage citizens to serve their neighbors in need alongside the Salvation Army with their resources and their time. Now, therefore, I, Teddy Milner, Mayor and the Council of the City of Aiken do hereby proclaim May 11 through 17, 2026 as Salvation Army Week in the City of Aiken and encourage all citizens to join together to give back to the community in any way that is personally meaningful. In witness whereof, we have caused the seal of the City of Aiken to be affixed this 11th day of May, 2026, and is signed by our Mayor, Teddy Milner, and our entire council. And Mayor, I'd just like to say the Salvation Army held their Table of Hope fundraising event on Friday night at the Leslie B. Price Center. And I'm always amazed at how generous this community is. And on that night, they were presented which will be a $2 million check from our legislators, and also the Leadership Aiken group, which I see one of their members, Roscoe Epps, presented them with a check for a fundraiser they recently had in the alley about 2 weeks ago. They raised $33,000. And over 45 people on the night of this event pledged $50 each to pay for 1 week for a person to stay at the shelter. The raffles raised a lot of money. I'm not sure how much, but I can tell you it was very significant. And this is all because of the love that we have for people in this community. And of course, our great leadership under the direction of Michael Good and Malika Good. I see you got your daughter with you tonight. Hi, baby. Okay. And we have our board here tonight, so I'd like for them to come forward as well. Okay? And so was the band. Few of us was out there on the floor cutting the wood, or whatever they call it. Oh, and this lady here, and we missing one. Oh, right here, Karen. Karen and Bernice organized a very fun and successful event. And I have to say, we have some of the best board members anybody can ever ask for. And we missing Bill Taylor and Donna Taylor.
And Clark.
And who else?
Clark.
Oh, we got Clark. How are you? See there, that's right here, we got the money. That's right. Yes, but all of these people, hi. I didn't win the dinner at their new house, but I still love them. And he came back just for the event, so I'm sorry.
That's it. Very nice.
So, where's Michael? Get over here.
Come up here. That's it. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, why are you hiding, Clark?
He's good. Just his head for this thing. That was so good.
Everybody looking, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep looking, smiling. Thank you.
One more. That's good. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. You're welcome. You deserve it. And more. And lastly, we have a presentation about stormwater in regard to Tribute Parkway. We have representatives from Benish Engineering for this presentation. Mr. Beedenbow, will you please introduce them?
Yes, we have Oliver Weston of Benish. You can come on up, Oliver. And we did have a request at the last meeting to talk a little bit about this particular element of the project. I know that came up quite a bit on an unrelated matter to the road, the annexation of the road right-of-way. Which is all that was really being voted on. But it's important, I think, that we emphasize some of the steps that we're taking, and we've heard from residents about issues that they're having, and we certainly want to be mindful of that. So I'm going to ask Oliver to give his presentation to the council and to those present and those observing remotely.
Thank you, Mayor Milner. Thank you, Stewart. Thank you, Council. After our last council session, there were a few concerns regarding the stormwater as it relates to Tribute Parkway. So we thought I could come up, give a quick presentation regarding those before you vote again on the second reading of annexation tonight. For phase one, we did, which is currently under construction right now, We did have a design criteria to maintain the pre-construction stormwater runoff in the post-construction phase. What that entails for phase one is including what used to be the former Watson tract, but all of the property north of the roundabout that is slated for development, we took that area into account when designing our stormwater ponds for the project to manage that runoff without letting development run rampant. We also sized those ponds so that they could act as sediment basins during construction. So what that means is all of the silt from the construction site, well, not all of it, but some of it will end up in those ponds. They're retrofitted with a best maintenance practice in order to filter out that sediment so that it doesn't wash downstream, create that gross orange water that impacts people's properties. And after construction, the contractor goes in, cleans out those ponds, and turns it into a fully functioning detention pond. Same for phase two. You can see in the picture there are two smaller blue areas. Those are the proposed ponds for phase two. Again, we have that pre versus post stormwater criteria, but we wanted to limit the footprint on these ponds as much as possible by just managing the roadway water so that we could mitigate any environmental impacts for phase two of the project. And because we limited those footprints, we did make them limited use to just the stormwater runoff that comes from the roadway, from the right-of-way that you're voting on tonight. It does not include any stormwater detention for future developments. Anything that comes in those areas would need their own stormwater development plans. And that really brings us to what we're here tonight to talk about, and that's the annexation for the property north of Thoroughbred Run for phase two. The property highlighted in red is the area of concern tonight. All of this is already owned by the city, and what voting yes on this annexation allows is it allows the city to become the local issuing authority through an intergovernmental agreement with Aiken County. It allows the city to own and maintain the future roadway. It allows the city to address public concerns down the future. But it also requires the project to follow stormwater requirements set by DOT and the city of Aiken, whichever is more stringent. But most importantly, it does not require any adjacent parcels to annex automatically. It also does not allow for clear cutting outside of the city of Aiken right away. We're not here to knock down more trees than we have to. We're here to build a road and protect the environment that we're able to. So with that, does council have any questions?
I just have a comment. Since I read the senior proclamation recognizing senior people, I was a planning commissioner many, many years ago before my hair was white when we started talking about this project. And we knew then that it needed to be done. A couple things, we didn't have the money. And thanks to Senator, senior moment.
Senator Graham and Senator Young. Federal
We had
Senator
federal
Graham and state
state.
Senator Young.
And so I'm thankful. And as you said in your presentation, the traffic engineers took into consideration the homes that were being built. So this is not just something that we're doing and we haven't taken into consideration what's being developed.
Correct.
So just so people understand that, because I think there's some people, maybe newer people, that don't realize that. So thank you very much for your presentation.
And talk about the stormwater standards that need to be abided by. You just mentioned in a bullet point to follow requirements set by DOT and City of Aiken. but also there were federal. We had to do a NEPA, which is an acronym for basically the environmental impact.
Right.
But go through that and how that all that was taken into account.
Right. So through the NEPA process, we had public involvement, open houses, and public hearings on the project. But most importantly, the NEPA process is there to protect the environment. It's there to make sure that we've done our due diligence with the Native American tribes, endangered species, threatened species, what kind of trees might need to come down. If it lives in the unbuilt world, NEPA cares for it, and the NEPA process is not done lightly through the FHWA. It is a very rigorous process that has a lot of boxes to check, and the Federal Highways made sure that we did that.
Could we have gotten to this point without having gotten this approval of the environmental study that NEPA requires?
I'm sorry, do you mind asking?
Could we have gotten to this process where we're talking about ultimately letting out to bid for phase 2 and annexing this property if we had not done this, all these requirements of the federal government?
No, those studies are stipulations set forth by the federal government. In order to receive federal funding for any project, you have to meet all the requirements through NEPA, right-of-way acquisition, design, and procurement.
Now, one thing I want to ask is, in terms of how stormwater flows, can you alter the direction stormwater flows as part of a project, redirect it, so to speak, or does it have to go in the direction that the natural topography sends it?
To say that it cannot go in the natural direction would be false. Of course, you can pump stormwater anywhere you need to. Generally, the stormwater will follow the natural topography, flow to the low point, and typically where we see those low points or localized low points, that's where we'll place a detention pond before releasing it back into the environment.
And are we pumping any water? Is there any water being pumped in a way it's just following the natural topography of the land? What about accelerating the discharge? Because I know this drainage basin has been problematic. What requirements have to be understood and taken into account? Could you explain that as it relates to how stormwater is dispensed and addressed from a project such as this?
Of course. So before construction, in the aerials, we could see that there were a lot of trees, a lot of green space. Unfortunately, a lot of that's not going to be there when we replace it with a road, and we're going to have impervious surfaces draining that basin. Water will inevitably flow faster off of that impervious surface than it would through the forest. That's what the detention ponds are there for. What they're there to do is hold that water back and release it at a rate consistent with that forested area, so that no one point downstream feels a major impact after construction is complete. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No more questions? No questions? Thank you. Now we open the floor to public comments on non-agenda items. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker and for a total of 30 minutes. Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm Dr. Bob Van Pelt, 303 South Bank Drive. I'm the Homeowner Association President for Mallard Lake Subdivision. In our subdivision, for over a month now, we've had a broken water pipe. Water is leaving down the street into the sewer and into the retention basin on a 24/7. For about a week, we had the city come out initially. They were doing some work, digging and working on the area. It's still leaking. They came back again for a few days and doing some more work, but it's still leaking. They've been gone. They took their equipment away for almost 2 weeks now. No one's around. The water continually goes down and leaks into the sewer, into the retention basin. This is drinking water, a very valuable resource. We don't need to tell you that. So, you know, we heard through indirect through the utilities that they can't find the leak. Well, if you're not out in the field, how are you going to find the leak? You got to be out there, you know, opening the road, looking for it. So we're asking the city to move on this and expedite this process that we can get the pipes repaired and stop the leak and stop, you know, the waste of the water. And by the way, we've had numerous breaks in the past, but this is the one that's kind of sticking with us now for over a month. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Jacob?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council, Jacob Ellis. I missed all of April, but I'm glad to be back. I don't know how many people in this room or in downtown genuinely walk the non-core streets of downtown Aiken, but this past week I walked from the municipal building we're in now down Richland Avenue to the intersection of Richland and Union, and I was shocked to see the condition of the sidewalks on that third right there. I didn't get to walk anymore, but going further down East Richland, I would assume they're not in good condition. If the ones closer to downtown are not in good condition, someone needs to be looking at the condition of our sidewalks in non-core areas of downtown, because downtown Aiken doesn't stop just at Park Avenue and Union or Pendleton and Barnwell. Downtown is many city blocks, and with the condition of sidewalks goes the condition of public transportation. Our public transportation goes hand in hand in sidewalk ability, I think. If we are to increase public transportation by allocating funds from the capital project sales tax over the next couple of years, we could significantly increase public transportation to the point where people in our homeless community could get around more, they could get jobs, they could go to the grocery store. Right now we spend about, I think, $1 million for Best Friend Express over 3 years, and that's roughly $300,000 a year. So again, sidewalks and public transportation need to be looked at for the betterment of all of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Mary Anton, and I reside at 212 Box Elder Drive in Aiken. Research described in an August 2025 article from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health entitled, What Would It Take to End Homelessness in America? Shows that, quote, housing costs explain far more of the difference in rates of homelessness than variables such as substance use disorder, mental health, weather, the strength of the social safety net, poverty, or economic conditions. Housing costs have increased while wages, especially for low-income workers, have not kept pace. The minimum wage in South Carolina has been $7.25 per hour since July 2009. What are local governments supposed to do? Do nothing and hope that the economic conditions improve? Wait for the state or federal government to increase our housing subsidies or increase the minimum wage? I like to think that this is not what our local governments are doing. I rather hope you are gathering more data and planning to define the problem better and find solutions for our increasing homeless problem. As I stated at the last council meeting using data from the recent survey performed by the Salvation Army, 46% of the households in the city of Aiken lack the income to cover basic household budgets. These are over 6,400 households, of which a little over 2,500 of those have incomes below the federal poverty level. These are the elderly, the working poor, and families who now are finding it more and more difficult to stretch their income to the end of each month, let alone save for retirement or home improvements. Federal legislation in July 2025 will make significant cuts to federal safety net programs that are projected to increase poverty, hunger, and uninsured rates among the low-income households in South Carolina. For the homeless, this legislation creates significant hurdles for individuals without stable addresses or internet access. Locally, I am troubled by the Aiken Housing Authority's 66 reduction in public housing that has occurred over the past 5 years. First with the closing of the 100-unit Han Village in 2021 and the 70-unit New Hope 1 and 2 just recently in 2025, at a time of rising homelessness in our community without a concomitant increase in other subsidized housing to replace it. As chair of the Aiken County Homeless Coalition for the past 3 years and a caseworker at St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry for over 6 years, I have watched the homeless situation in Aiken get progressively worse. Solutions to our increasing homeless problem require a collaborative, multi-sector approach combining public, private, and nonprofit efforts to solve. To quote Benjamin Franklin, "By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail." Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Councilman. I'm Brad Gutierrez, one of the owners of 703 Brisson Avenue East, the Parlor Coffee and Company. And I came here today to speak on a business model that I had that was successful 3 times over that I'm trying to bring to Aiken. I'm trying to lead the tip of the spear to bring more foot traffic to my location and my neighbors. But I'm having trouble with ordinance 07102017A, which is the right-of-way of public property, which states no mobile food vendor shall operate on public streets, sidewalks, parkways, alleys, trails, or any other right-of-way or city-owned property, including but not limited to plazas, parks, unless approved by the city as part of the permanent special events or otherwise permitted pursuant to section D2, which states that in order for me to operate on the public right-of-ways as designated by the Senate Councilman, must follow a public hearing and recommendation from the Planner Commission. I have permission, proof of concept from Mr. Michael Dennis that he has no complaints about my concept to distribute my goods in the city in certain areas of parks in downtown Aiken on certain days of the week, and I'm requesting to be placed on the agenda so that I can operate for 2 days out the week for 3 hours each. That's 6 hours total to do my promotional campaign, part of my business plan, starting starting summer, a big summer startup for my company. And I wanted to know if I can ask and request for permission to get a pass of this ordinance so I'm not fined for trying to be successful at a new business owner in Aiken.
Is there someone here that can provide some advice? I don't think we should.
Well, I mean, again, this is, I met with the speaker and Councilwoman Diggs on Wednesday about this and several other issues. This is, I think, related to similar to what we saw at up on the 100 North block of Lawrence the other day with, again, at Cork and Cap, where The ordinance does not allow, unless it is a licensed festival, these events in the right-of-way. Some of it is safety related. Some of it is the ownership of the roads, with the Department of Transportation being able to do that. That's not to say that what Mr. Gutierrez is mentioning needs to. It's not a valid point. It's just, I think we need to look at how did we get to this point where we have this ordinance, and what would be the consequences if it's repealed totally versus amended in a way where he can do he can do what he would like to do, and perhaps others, but not impacting existing brick and mortar businesses and other similar type enterprises.
Now, in contrast to add on to that statement is my mobile food vending service isn't wheels and axles. It's just a person with a cigar tray that's outfitted for my desserts and coffee that I have to sell. And I do have events coming up in the next couple of months where I have brick and mortar hiring my catering service to sell my desserts and my coffee at their events downtown and in the alleyway. And just like the incident at Cork and Cap was a wheel and axle parked across parking spots, which violates that ordinance, which comes with a hefty fine that I do not want to get. And this is me trying to get ahead of that fine to ask for permission, because as for the last bullet point of D2 is that I must have permission from councilmen to order to have that pass.
And again, that permission would require, I believe, the ordinance to be amended. This is not like a permission where they do vote. So again, it's something that we can take up and have discussion with the council. But I think before we get to that point, we're going to have to, from a staff perspective, provide, as I said a moment ago, why do we have the ordinance on the books, and what are the consequences for everything? Because while it could address your situation, we don't want to complicate or the law of unintended consequences, nor do we want to impact existing brick and mortar businesses in a negative fashion. Again, there's a lot of factors to weigh. So while I think your point's well taken, it's going to take a little bit of time to get us to the point where we can take a look at this in terms of having a work session with council, getting some direction from council, having the staff provide council with what the options are, and then getting it potentially amended. I mean, again, I understand you would like to see this addressed as quickly as possible, but we want to make sure that we don't create, by correcting one thing, we create multiple other situations. We just need to make sure council's given the best, all the information they need, so they can make the decision that hopefully will work out for you, but not create a lot of other problems. I mean, that's the situation.
Can we give him a general idea of how long that would take?
Well, I would think we could talk about it with council in a work session next month. Okay. But then going forward, it may probably have to go to planning commission and then 2 readings of council. Yeah. So we're talking probably minimum 3 months.
2 months.
Probably minimum 3 months, because remember, we're only meeting once in May and once in July.
Right.
So I would say 3 months.
That sound okay, Brad?
Oh, that's fine with me, as long as it's moving forward. That's all.
And I owe you an apology. I was supposed to come to your event on Saturday evening, and I was supposed to bring Councilwoman Price with me, and both of us had a little too much on our agenda to make it over there, but
there was so many
coming.
So many people, there wasn't enough seats. So I'm glad you didn't show up.
Wow.
But
So they took my table that you were
no,
saying?
your table was still there. I took it. Yes, but there's more events coming on. We have a big summer startup event happening with us and other businesses along that street. But you'll have another invitation soon.
Okay. And he lives in District 1. He came back here to open this business. I'm just so proud of him and so impressed with what he's doing. And he's involved in so many others that are able to benefit from his business. And they're just doing whatever they can do, baking cakes and selling them on their own right there with him.
Yes, everyone has a collaboration in the
He's
business.
right. It's a collaborative effort, and it's amazing. I'm just so
Thank you,
impressed.
Councilman Diggs. Appreciate it.
All right.
Well, thank you, Councilman, Madam
Thank
Mayor.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Todd? Good evening.
My name's Todd Stilp. I live at 1982 Banks Mill Road. I'm just going to quickly address the, I guess, this Powder House extension. My biggest concern is I'm already having a major impact from this. There are no significant roads, there's nothing going on, and I'm already being impacted. I have a picture here. It's not the best, it was a little kind of a rainy day, but it shows Powder House Road. It shows the two lakes up over here for the Powder House Road, retention of water, et cetera, et cetera. But what you can see, and I think it's been brought to y'all's attentions already, that the water comes underneath Powder House Road in one specific spot. That's in response to the
presentation.
Yeah, okay. Anyhow, so the water is coming underneath the road. The gentleman said, you know, they try to spread the water out so it's not coming from one impact point, but it is. All this water, as you can see from right here, I mean, there's acres of greenery here, and the water's being collected here, and it's coming out 2 points. They gather, they come to 1 point, and then they come to one specific point, comes underneath the road, and as you can see, it's brown water. And the thing about it is on these aerial views that I have, I've got clean water that comes from another problem, Mallard Lake and up that way. But this dirty water is all coming from across the road as a whole. So therefore, I'm getting flooded with this water already. And this was with no other construction, no nothing. I'm getting flooded. This is adding to my problem. So when they start expanding the road, putting more curbs and curb cuts and what have you, then the water's going to come here. The same thing happened. I got flooded by the sanctuary. Not one single road, one house. All they did is they bulldozed where the roads are going, and the banks of the pond already flooded. So I can only imagine in a year from now how much more water I'm going to get getting. So basically, these lakes, when the first gallon of water comes in, it starts coming out right away. And it's all concentrated to come to one specific spot. So all I can do is just keep sharing I got a whole bunch of pictures I'm going to leave with y'all. Y'all pass around, look at them. My problem's not going away. And you can tell me you got the strictest retention problems and everything, but the water's coming by, and it's not going away. And I have a whole bunch I got thousands of pictures that we've taken with drones every time it floods, every time it rains hard. I'll be more than glad to share them, whoever wants to look at them. But I mean, it's an issue. So if y'all could just
Thank you. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
be around, I'm not
Okay.
going anywhere.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Lex.
I didn't realize you were here. I thought the front row was empty.
Hiding in the back there. Good evening, Council, Mayor.
Good evening.
Lex Perry, C4 Impact, 1526 South Boundary Avenue Southeast. I know you all heard the numbers that Mary shared with you earlier, and they do sound really bleak. And I think everybody in this community is aware that the homelessness is horrible, not here just in Aiken, but in South Carolina and all over the country for that matter. But what I want to focus on is what we're actually doing about it. I will say with C4, we have leveled up 6 individuals now. We've, with the location we have on Greenville Street, which we use as our on-ramp, let's call it. And now we're in our second phase of the bridge. What we call the bridge, where we have individuals in houses. Now, again, is it perfect? No. But I will tell you this, the individuals who have been leveled up into the individual houses, they now have their own individual rooms. They're sharing the space. It's 3 people maximum per house. They are very happy. The peace that they've shared with us, that they really enjoy it. They're in a very nice neighborhood. They can go for a nice walk. And they can actually focus on bettering their life and to move on to the next level. And they know the third phase is the landing, which is to get to their own permanent house. Emergency shelters are needed. However, emergency shelters, you're talking about 10 days. What we're dealing with is individuals transforming their lives. And we're talking about a year or 2 just for the on-ramp portion that we're doing on Greenville Street. Then you're talking about another 2 to 3 to 4 years in the bridge. That is really getting yourself stable. You're getting a job. You're saving your money in order to raise enough money, to save enough money in order to pay the security deposits and all the other things. We all know the average, what is a 1-bedroom, about $1,200 a month or a little bit higher. And the income that the individuals that are calling now, some of the ones that were coming just to get in the on-ramp program, they can't even afford the $650. So we're trying to figure out a way to help them get to $650 with looking at odds and end jobs and those type of things. This is not an overnight thing. You know, an emergency shelter is not going to fix it. Praise God for Salvation Army and and what they're doing. Yes, but it is not the solution. What we're trying to do is going to take the entire community. We have a win-win-win situation going on now because the landlords are happy. We're taking care of the property. They know that they're going to have the funds coming in, and the properties look great. They're going to maintain that way. And guess what? They're going to be there for a few years. So, you know, again, we're bringing people back into the community. They're getting involved. And those same individuals are also giving back by volunteering, like we're doing again this weekend with Clean Up Aiken on York Street. We're going to be going out there with them again to clean up. And you saw that massive project we still need to handle on Gregg Highway. It's being done. Yes, there's negative news, there's bad news, but there's a lot of positive things that are going on as well. The community continues we have to come together, we have to get creative, and we have to understand this is not an overnight thing. But if we all buckle down, it can be fixed, it can be done. Aiken can handle its homeless issue, and we can be a light to the rest of the state if we choose to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's, before you leave, I was on Greenville Street today and was stopped by someone who talked about you. The conversation was extremely positive. But while I'm making the comment, how long have you been at the location there?
For a year.
They indicated that they have not had or seen a problem. They've not witnessed a problem since you have been working with the individuals that are there. They said, you are an enforcer, you go by the rules, you will let them know, and as neighbors right across the street, they watch you a lot on what's going on. And believe me, you're getting high praises from the residents in that area. And that's the kind of thing we want to hear, but also they see you as an example, a model for a lot of other locations.
Well, all glory to God. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Yes, sir.
How y'all doing, Mayor, Councilman? Yes. This is just to bring awareness to some shooting that's going around in Highway 19 to Aiken.
What's your name? What your name for the record?
My name is Patrick Odom. Live on Butler Circle, Aiken, South Carolina, which is the county. But we are adjacent to the new housing complex on 19 and Williams Lane, which is a joint project between Aiken County and Aiken City. All right. Yesterday, I went to my mom's house. We already had 3 shootings in that area within a mile distance from each other. Well, I was at my mom's house yesterday. I got off work at 7:15. I got to my mother's house about 7:40. I'm sitting in my car. I noticed gunshots. I immediately got down in my car, called my mom and said, get down on the floor. Gunshots are coming from the backside of that property, the new housing complex. They're coming, the bullets was hitting, and you can tell which way the bullets are coming because it's hitting the woods, and you can see the limbs coming. When I call 911, when I give my address, they're automatically calling Aiken County. I'm asking, can we get a joint project in between Aiken County and the city of Aiken to do something about some of the gun violence on Highway 19 and that new housing complex? It's just not the county. This is a joint issue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we will move on to the consent agenda. Mr. Biedenbow, will you please read the titles of the items on the consent agenda into the record?
Yes. We have the following items. No comments were received by the appropriate deadlines, either online or bringing a written request to the city clerk by 7. So we have an ordinance to annex property located at 1117 Conger Drive and zone the same RS15 residential single family. An ordinance to annex property located at 2065 Pine Log Road and zone the same RS15 residential single family. An ordinance amending the zoning of property located at 1518 Two Notch Road from LP Limited Professional to LB Limited Business, and an ordinance to rezone property owned by the city of Aiken from General Business GB to RS10 Residential Single Family. That is the consent agenda for tonight, Madam Mayor and Council.
Thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve this?
So moved, Madam Mayor.
I'll second.
Councilman Waldo made the first motion, and the second from?
I second.
Thank you. Councilwoman Broll, second the motion. Any comments from the, no comments for the consent agenda. Sorry about that. All those in favor? Thank you. We now have approval and discussion of appointees to various city boards, committees, and commissions. Mr. Biedenbow.
Thank you. We do not have any appointments for consideration this evening.
Do I have a motion to approve that?
Don't need a motion.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Are there any nominations to consider at our next meeting? No, nothing. Okay. We will move on to the next item, which is old business, is second reading and public hearing of an ordinance to rezone 117 Colleton Avenue Southwest from residential multifamily low-density RML to downtown business. Mr. Biedenbow.
Thank you. The applicant has requested this rezoning. It is a parcel affiliated currently with the Wilcox and has historically been part of that property. It's known as the Chef's Cottage. It would the zoning would allow the property to continue to be used as an extension of the hotel by providing additional overnight accommodations for the Wilcox with the same amenities. The Planning Commission asked the Design Review Board for their recommendation on the request to rezone from RML residential multifamily low density to downtown business DB. And the DRB recommended that approval. The Planning Commission recommended it. It is before council for second reading. I know the applicant is ready to move forward with this. I know we've heard from residents, just not necessarily as it relates to the current owners, but just going forward. Impacts, and this is property that is located both in an overlay and with the current zoning, whether it's RML or if it's rezoned to downtown business, and the more stringent rules or process would apply for future use of the property. And council has this before you at second reading this evening, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept this?
I so move.
Councilwoman Diggs and Councilwoman Morgan second the motion. Are there any comments from the public? Any comments from council? All those in favor? Thank you. It's unanimous. The final item under old business is second reading and public hearing of an ordinance to annex 7.08 acres owned by the city of Aiken on Thoroughbred Run, Powder House Road, and Old Powder House Road, and assign it as a right-of-way with no zoning. Mr. Biedenbo.
Thank you. It is, you read the title of the ordinance. We did have a discussion about the stormwater, which was a separate topic, but we do have this annexing of the road footprint and assign it with no zoning. I know questions that have come up and had been brought forward. Adjacent property owners would not be required to annex in if they currently would be adjacent to the footprint if they are on city services now, as long as if the property transfers to a new owner, basically if it transfers to any other entity other than a surviving spouse, our annexation rules would apply. But they are not adjacent property owners as a result would not be required to come into the city. I think we've heard both at the last meeting and this current meeting concerns about the stormwater, and as was shared, that's something I think that will need to continue to be addressed to ensure that impacts to those property owners are not. I guess they go back to the pre-construction level of runoff that is required. Again, this road project is one that has been around for 20 years, and the funding was procured both federal, state, and local over the last 5 years to do this project. This is something we hear regularly around the community, that infrastructure needs to keep pace with development, and this road helps in a transportation way fulfill that. The road is built to FHWA standards with federal money. I know that came up. The road is going to have multiple 2 lanes, except where there are turning movements, left or right turn only or left turn. It will have, which is required, a multi-use path for pedestrians, bicyclists, etc. And again, that is required given the fact we have federal funds for this. The right-of-way is 120 foot wide. It includes a utility corridor for conduit, etc. We've talked about, we heard the presentation about stormwater retention ponds, and again, to emphasize for the second phase, retention deals with just road runoff from the roads. Should there be any development off the second phase, those developers would be required to abide by whichever jurisdiction's stormwater requirements there are, whether it's the county, if it's a county development, or if it is a city development. Again, what we have before council this evening is the 7.08 acres of the road right-of-way, the footprint of the road, to be annexed into the city limits of Aiken. And it's before council for second reading this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the ordinance to annex this property?
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Councilman Waldo made the motion,
I'll second, Madam Mayor.
and a second from Councilwoman Broll. Are there any comments from the public? Comments from council? All those in favor? Thank you. Motion passed. I will give Mr. Beedenbow a moment to come back before we move to new business. We needed you. We now move to new business. The first item is a resolution approving the sale of certain surplus real property by the Housing Authority of the City of Aiken, South Carolina, pursuant to South Carolina Code 31-3-500. Mr. Beedenbow.
Thank you. You read the title of the resolution. The Aiken Housing Authority is an autonomous body that has board members appointed by the City Council. The board or the authority has the ability to declare property surplus to its needs and to proceed to the public sale provided certain conditions exist, including but not limited to approval by the Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development and approval of the council of the city for which the authority was created. This is written out in state law in the title, in the code section that was read in the resolution title, where the city where the authority was created in has to approve this particular surplus property request by the local housing authority. We did have a March 23rd work session with officials and the city council officials from the housing authority, and had a subsequent meeting with members of the delegation and the housing authority. Those two bodies met to describe their intent to sell property at New Hope and use the net proceeds to help with their reinvestment in property known as Han Village, which is approximately 19 and a half acres located on the west side of the 600 and 700 blocks of Lawrence Street Northwest. What we have in the packet is our resolution along with the signed resolution signed by the chairman and board secretary of the Aiken Housing Authority declaring that property surplus along with the legal description of said property. We included a letter that Senator Young sent to the director of the Housing Authority, the CEO, with questions that he had gotten from constituents, their answers, along with a packet of information they had presented to the Senator and Representatives Hart and Oramus. And I know in talking to the senator after the meeting, he believed his questions had been answered satisfactorily, and we delayed bringing this resolution to council until the delegation could have this meeting with the housing authority. This item now is before council for approval this evening.
Thank you. Is there a motion to accept this? Councilwoman Price made the motion,
I second.
and a second from Councilwoman Diggs. Are there any comments from the public? Any comments from council? All those in favor? Thank you. The next item under new business is first reading and public hearing of an ordinance to sell property at 15 Given Street to Adams Property Group, LLC. Mr. Bedenbo.
Thank you. This is an ordinance approving the sale and conveyance of the property described. As you read the title, we were approached late last year actually, about the interest to purchase this 10.15 unimproved acres in our industrial park, Vereen's. This is the park that is closest to Interstate 20 north of the Aiken Regional Airport. It is an unimproved parcel that the city of Aiken has owned since the 1940s. It was originally part of the airport proper, and then in the 1970s, the city created the Vereen's Industrial Park. The buyer is representing a current tenant in the industrial park, and the tenant plans to use the property to construct a building that will import, assemble, and distribute construction equipment to companies throughout the United States. I know the residents asked quite a bit about the, our engaged citizenry asked questions about, impact on utilities. This is a low impact user of water and sewer. Most of the usage would be just through regular, like a commercial building with restroom fixtures. For the bulk of their use. The purchase price is $475,000, which council asked for two appraisals, and we averaged it. One appraisal was $350,000, the other was $600,000. And we have this before you for first reading and public hearing, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Do I have a motion, please?
I so move, Madam Mayor.
Councilwoman Brohl made the motion. I need a second, please.
Second.
Councilman Waldo. Any comments from the public? Comments from council? All those in favor? Thank you. Sold.
Not yet.
Not
One
yet.
more reading.
Oh, that's right. Now we have first reading and public hearing of an ordinance to set the fiscal year 2026-2027 millage rate. Mr. Bedenbaugh.
Thank you. It is an ordinance to provide for the levy of taxes for ordinary city purposes in the city of Aiken for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026, set the millage at 60 mills and provide for the expenditures thereof. Our millage rate has been 60 mills since 2021. We have not increased millage since 1989 when it was set at 120 mills, and we have lowered the millage 7 times since 1989 to 60 mills. Just as a matter of information for everyone, the county the county is statutorily charged to conduct a reassessment of all the values of real property every 5 years, and they are winding this down this year, and they will be we will be coming back later in the year because we don't have the assessed values yet updated, but the millage could go. It could stay at 60 going forward, or it could be reduced depending. But we have we are setting it at 60 mills currently based on the current value of our tax digest, and we have, which you'll find out in a moment, a balanced budget using the current millage rate of 60, and this is before council this evening.
Thank you. Is there a motion for this, please? A motion?
I so move, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Brohl
I second.
and Councilwoman Diggs second the motion. Any comments from the public? Comments from council? All those in favor? Thank you. Next, we have first reading and public hearing of an ordinance to establish new charges for water and sewer service. Mr. Beedenbow.
Thank you. The council has regularly directed us to operate our enterprise utility as efficiently as possible. We consistently monitor our system performance, complete repairs in-house when feasible, maintain operations with minimal staffing levels necessary. Council's also supported staff and our customers through significant investments in infrastructure, most notably the new Shaw's Creek Water Plant is under construction. In addition, we have $28 million in water and sewer projects that will be funded through Capital Project Sales Tax 5. But even with this support, our infrastructure needs, like those of many communities nationwide, continue to outpace available resources. As outlined in our rate study, which we update every 4 years. We're in the second year of our rate study, this current iteration. A rate adjustment would be necessary, we believe, to meet ongoing service obligations, address rising operating and personnel costs, and maintain the required financial benchmarks, including the debt service coverage that I referenced earlier with the water plant and other improvements to our utility system and maintenance, and fund balance reserves. Accordingly, an 8% rate increase is recommended. Now, what does that mean for our residential users? Under the current proposed adjustment, a typical residential customer uses about 800 cubic feet of water and sewer. Those individuals would see their bill go up about $5.51 per month. Customers using lower volumes would see smaller increases. Customer using 400 cubic feet per month, which is typical of smaller households, would see an increase of $3.65 per month. And a customer using 200 cubic feet per month, which is often a single household with one person in it, typically individual on a fixed income, would see an increase of $2.75 per month. We certainly don't take these requests to council lightly, but also council has also brought to us the importance that we have a system that we maintain, maintain our water and sewer. We sort of liken our city services to a chair with four legs. We want to have a very good water and sewer service and policing and fire. This is two of those legs, and we bring this to council for first reading this evening.
Thank you for that very good explanation of the new charges. Is there a motion?
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Councilman Waldo made the motion, and a second
I'll second, Madam Mayor.
from Councilwoman Brohl. Comments from the public? Comments from council? All those in favor? Thank you. The next item is first reading and public hearing of an ordinance to set the stormwater fee. Mr. Beeden.
This is, thank you, an ordinance amending the stormwater management utility fees. In 1992, we became the first community in South Carolina to implement a stormwater fee, first municipality. These are deposited in a dedicated enterprise fund account and are not commingled with our general fund, water and sewer fund, or other city funds. These revenues are used primarily to support the maintenance and improvement of the city's stormwater system. We heard discussion earlier during our work session and during this meeting about the importance of having a stormwater system that takes discharge and dispenses of it appropriately and legally. As discussed during that April 27th work session as part of our, again, 4-year rate study. We're in the year 2 of that model. We do have a rate adjustment necessary. We have not typically, over the last 34 years, increased our stormwater fee. We implemented it in 1992, raised it in 2003, in 2015, and 2019, and last year. Last year, council may remember we had the presentation, and the then iteration of council looked at going from $7.90 per ERU to $11 then, but council decided to do it in sort of what I call a stair step type fee. So we only increased it about halfway and went to $9.09. Now that doesn't mean, again, most homeowners are going to they will not pay that $11.10. Homeowners will pay, if they live on a lot that's 10,000 square feet or smaller, they will pay, 10,000 square feet or smaller, which is a lot of our single family residential units in town. Their fee will be $8.32 per month, or $8.33, I should say. And, again, this money does go to do maintenance of storm water. Our stormwater lines, I know we've done replacement all around the city over the last few years. We've done work in our downtown. We did some, I remember, on McCormick Street, replacing some of the lines. Also, we've replaced lines certainly in our south side. So we have this before you this evening, Madam Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Is there a motion to accept this ordinance?
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Councilman Waldo made the motion.
Second, Madam Mayor.
Second from Councilwoman Price. Comments from the public? Comments from council? All those in favor? Thank you. The final item under new business this evening is first reading and public hearing to adopt the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget. Mr. Biedenbrough.
Thank you. This is an ordinance to adopt a budget proposed by the city manager containing estimates of proposed revenues and expenditures by the city of Aiken for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026 and ending June 30, 2027, and declaring that it shall constitute the budget of the city of Aiken.
Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the first reading
So moved, Madam Mayor.
of this budget? Councilwoman Price
Now second, Madam Mayor.
and Councilman Broll made the second. Are there any comments from the public?
If I may make a few comments, I want to. I stopped to drink some water.
Okay.
I've been talking too much.
No, that's good.
But I just want to hit a couple of the highlights. I want to thank Kim Brooks and her team for their assistance in putting the budget together. Our departments for asking. They take this process very seriously. It's like every budget, they request more than we have funding available, so it becomes a useful exercise based on directives from council, how to prioritize these things at our New Horizons. I want to note our general fund remains very stable. You've passed first reading of a millage rate, which has not been raised since 1989. We continue to have strong revenue projection. The value of a mill this year has gone up 6.8% over last year, $248,030. We continue to have a strong tax digest because of our low cost of living and high quality of life here. So this is a place that people want to visit and want to live in. So that is reflected by the value of our mill, which is certainly reflected on the value of our property, which is very tangible when a piece of property sells. Certainly, state law caps owner-occupied property to 15% increase in value over the 5-year assessment period. We also have support for our most valuable asset, our city staff. We are recommending a 4% increase for all employees, 2% cost of living to go to them in the July second payroll in July, and a 2% merit increase with the achievement of a satisfactory performance evaluation. We talked about the priority to our utility infrastructure, and we addressed those in 2 earlier agenda items. A solid waste increase, which is part of this general budget. Again, we still will be among the lowest rate for solid waste service in the area, and we provide more services with this fee. We provide recycling, garbage, and yard debris pickup than most of the private waste collectors. We have not increased our rates since 2022. And again, we wish we did not have to do this, but council charges us to run this enterprise fund in a fiduciary appropriate way with good practices. So we are requesting a rate increase to $29.05 per month, $3.84 increase. Commend Lex Kirkland and his team for running a well-managed and efficient operation. They only request rate increases when absolutely necessary and are thoughtful, but they continue to be thoughtful about our future planning. I just want to highlight a couple of things in the budget before we move forward. Funding and support for our Department of Public Safety. Mentioned the stool or the chair analogy, policing and fire, funding their necessary equipment. And personnel, we want to stay, again, the pay we're recommending keeps us competitive in the marketplace, especially in public safety. Funding for repairs and maintenance at parks and recreation facilities, continued support for our Unified Development Ordinance creation, continued work on construction projects, including the water plant at Shaw's Creek, Tribute Parkway, funding to improve efficiency and streamline processes, including software to digitize licensing and permitting and software for asset management, funding 2 new positions in building inspections, additional building official and permit tech. Council's been very clear. The message has been received clear that we need to support that, the increasing demands on that division, and continuing to fund our depreciation, even though costs continue to rise. But that indicates our dedication to planning for the future. And we believe this budget does align with your priorities by providing for employees, investing in essential utility infrastructure, public safety support, and our Parks and Recreation program. And this is up for first reading this evening.
Thank you. Sorry I missed a moment there. We have great faith in the city staff for providing such a wonderful budget. That's why we've already made the motion. All those in favor? Thank you. We now move on to petitions and requests. We have 2 items this evening, and the first is approval of a recommendation for the Accommodations Tax Committee for Visit Aiken funding. Mr. Beaver.
Thank you. The ATAX committee did meet on February 19th to review a portion of the Visit Aiken budget, which is funded by our state accommodations tax, which is the 30% advertising and promotion special funds. We estimate $184,500 for fiscal year 26-27 for this special fund. The committee has recommended funding $325,719 as listed in the attached memo from the Accommodations Tax Committee for Visit Aiken SC. This does exceed the funding received from that 30% advertising and promotion special fee. This overage is offset by other funding sources in our budget for fiscal year 26-27, and this is before you for this approving this recommendation from the Accommodations Tax Committee and their chair, Peggy Penland.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Councilman Waldo, and a second
I'll
from Councilwoman Morgan. Any comments from the public? Comments from council? All those in favor? Thank you. Next is approval of a resolution authorizing the city of Aiken to enter into a settlement agreement for opioid settlement funding. Mr. Beatonville.
Thank you. We do periodically have these settlements that we can opt in. There is a new proposed opioid settlement reached with 6 defendants who distributed and/or dispensed opioids. The state of South Carolina generally, and the city of Aiken specifically, is eligible to participate in this settlement. Last month, I was sent a document allowing us to participate that must be executed by June 4th, 2026. Since we don't know yet how many counties or municipalities are going to opt in, we don't know the amount of money that could be received. Now, what we've been using our funds for primarily we've got some opioid education in our public safety department, and we also have a partnership with the Aiken Center for Alcohol and Drug Abuse for treatment. We have prepared a resolution to authorize this document for execution. The settlement was several hundred pages long. Council's mentioned we need to try to conserve paper resources, so I put the digital link for you to look at the entire settlement. June 4th is the deadline to execute, and this is before you this evening, Madam Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Is there a motion to authorize the city of Aiken to enter into a settlement agreement?
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Councilwoman Price made the motion.
Second, yeah.
And a second from Councilwoman Morgan.
We appreciate you for that.
Comments from the public? Comments from council? All those in favor? Thank you. We now open the floor to public comments on non-agenda items. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker and a total of 30 minutes. Thank you. Well, I guess no one is going to say anything, so we'll go on to any items from the city manager.
Yes, first, we will not have a meeting the fourth Monday of May due to the Memorial Day holiday. So our next meeting will be June the 8th. Also, I want to remind everyone, and we did have a graphic display during the presentations, that May the 16th, this Saturday from 11 to 2 at Public Safety Headquarters on Beaufort Street, we will have a public safety open house. Food will be served, games and such for those that wish to play games and the young people. At 12 noon, there will be a Police Athletic League 20th anniversary reunion and special recognition of participants. And there is our graphic that I was referencing earlier, and we're very excited about that. And that is all I have.
Well, thank you for that. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Councilman Waldo made the
Second.
motion, and Councilwoman Morgan second. All those in favor? Thank you. Thank you all.